You're listening to Oilers Nation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Oilers Nation Radio episode 274?
277, I think.
I was close.
Million.
Yep.
Hot start.
There's a factor of 6 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oilers Nation Radio, it's the Friday episode. Gang's all here. Dan, Rick, Tyler, Liam, Bagmilk. Plenty to discuss. And as always, we start off with a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle, 18 locations at counting. If you are in the Edmonton area and you want some Oilers Nation stickers, pop into any of those Edmonton locations and grab one. If they do not have some because they're out, just let us know. We'll get them restocked. Deal? Deal. Tyler, what do you got for a delicious debate today?
Well, our pal Frank Saravalli was doing a hit with the guys at Bally Sports, and he dropped an interesting take in regards to Stuart Skinner and the Calder Trophy. So we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not Stuart Skinner is deserving of the Calder. But first, let's see what Frank had to say.
We're so used to seeing, McDavid and Matthews and all these unbelievable players come through with special seasons as a rookie. Not to say that it isn't from Beniers, but I think it just kind of opens up the door for someone like Stuart Skinner to walk in. And if you're talking on pure impact, how poorly Jack Campbell has played in net for the Edmonton Oilers this season. Stuart Skinner, 24 years old. Yes, I get it. This is his third technical season in the NHL in terms of games played. He had 13, and now has carried the ball for the Edmonton Oilers this season. He hadn't hit the games played maximums, so he actually remains a rookie by the true definition of the award, and therefore I think must be considered. You can't knock him for that. And if that's the case, it's hard to argue that the Edmonton Oilers are going to be in the playoffs if not for how well Skinner has played this season with a .911 save percentage. So right now, I'm leaning Skinner in the number 1 slot and Beniers number 2.
Oh, Frankie.
Spicy.
Putting Stu in the number 1 spot. Thoughts?
I brought this up around Christmas time, that whether or not he should be involved in the conversation, and everybody kind of laughed at me.
I don't think we laughed at you.
I openly mocked you about it to everyone I know.
I think we need to go back. I'm pretty sure there is laughing and there is pointing and there is judging. No, listen, I said this. I said it a long time ago. I honestly think that he was one of the best of the rookies still. I said it back then. I believe it right now. And the way that Beniers has sort of kind of fallen off, as we just spoke about, I think that does give him kind of the nudge into the number 1 spot. I don't know if I would put him in number 1 myself. I haven't even really looked at it.
Who are the?
But I think he needs to be in the top 3. No problem. I don't see there's any other way.
Outside of Matty Beniers, who are the other rookies that would even garner attention here?
McTavish
in Anaheim.
Craig McTavish.
Fucking hell, good for him.
Good job.
We got a good look the other day at Matthias
Still younger than Panarin when he won.
Yeah, Panarin won at the same age as Mac T is now, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with everything Frank said, except for the fact that he leaves out that the Edmonton Oilers just don't seem to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to awards and having that mentality that Frank had there, where it's like, yeah, if you look at the Oilers and you say, if the Oilers had Jack Campbell as their starting goalie and he was their only starting goalie, they wouldn't be where they are right now, but for the fact that we have Stuart Skinner. So I agree with everything Frank said, but I just don't see an Edmonton Oiler winning a Calder Trophy this year, just because we haven't had McDavid. We haven't had Gretzky. We haven't ever had a Calder Trophy winner in this city.
The Gretzky thing was a robbery. McDavid, everyone wants to say because there was enough games played, which
ridiculous.
is kind of a joke.
But
now they'll say that. Now they'll say that. Now they'll say that Skinner's
conspiracy against us. I mean, for the longest time, we didn't have players that were good enough to even be in the top.
Like Nuge got robbed for the games played thing too.
Yeah,
but now it could go the other way. And Skinner may have played too many games for the writers to give him the award now, because he's played 13, 15 games before.
I don't this season. Oh, you still fall into the rookie.
I agree.
Got to be in a rookie.
Yeah. I think they'll take the literal definition of it. Here's my thing. Like, Skinner's having a great year. And Frank brought up the point of how screwed would the Oilers be if Skinner wasn't doing this because of how poor Campbell is. But the award isn't the rookie most valuable to their team. It's the best rookie. Matty Beniers has been playing top line minutes for the Seattle Kraken. I believe he's their highest scoring forward.
But they also have like 9 second line forwards.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. But he's been their most consistent scoring forward. Maybe Jared McCann, you could say, is a little bit better. But Beniers is having a great year. And the other name, Logan Thompson in Vegas, is also technically a rookie. And he has a better save percentage and a better goals against average. And he has 2 shutouts. He's been hurt, but he still only played 6 less games than Stuart Skinner. If you're truly going off who's been the best rookie goalie this year, there probably is also a case for Thompson, but I will, like, if I had a ballot, my top 3 would be in some order: Beniers, Thompson, Skinner. I'm just
Why'd you put him in third?
That's just the way I said it. Alphabetical order. Nope.
It was not. Nope.
Watching everybody in the room doing the alphabet on their fingers was the best.
T comes after S.
No, like it would be those 3 in some order, I think. It could honestly end up being a pretty tight vote. But the fact that Frank Saravalli, important national media figure, Frank Saravalli, is kind of starting this conversation now about Skinner, I think there'll be some people who hear that and kind of go, or some voters who hear that and go, yeah, that's a really good point. He is a legitimate case. I'm not sure if it's his. I won't say it's a lock or anything, but it's a legitimate case.
He gets nominated at the very least.
Nominated at the very least.
I hope so, but all I think about is like when he went to the All-Star game and everybody's like, who? What? And they just try to like tear down his season, what it's been so far. He was like a candy.
Yeah. Tyler's always got candy for him.
I didn't pack lunch today, and then I was selling a microwave, so I didn't have time to get anything to eat. So now all I have is this handful of caramel M&Ms.
They're delightful.
Be careful. You got a meeting at 3:00 too. You need to like spread this out.
I know. I have to ration these M&Ms.
You got to go down and get yourself a nice cheese bun.
I will.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of time, but that's what interns are.
Liam, what do you think? Do you get some Calder consideration?
Yes. And I have some stats for us all here. That's what I've been researching. So the last Calder winner as a goalie was Steve Mason in 2009.
Legend.
Wow.
May all remember him.
I have a Steve Mason jersey.
Didn't he have like 10 shutouts that year though, or something crazy?
Columbus
he had 10 shutouts, a .916 save percentage, and a 2.29 goals against average. Columbus were in the Western Conference that year and finished 7th.
Who was on the list of the 3 finalists there? I'm just curious because
what did I say?
I'm giving you a wild card to pull out there, but I'd just be curious because this year we're talking about a bit of a weaker, I would say a weaker Calder class.
Yeah.
So we'll see what is compared to there.
Come on.
Mason, Bobby Ryan, and Chris Versteeg.
There's legend Chris Versteeg.
Yes.
Okay. So
this year,
what a training camp he had.
Skinner doesn't have the 10 shutouts, but he does have a better, what did I say? Save percentage was better? I lost my stats.
Mason had the better.
He's just off. But last year, Nedeljkovic or 2 years ago, Nedeljkovic was a Calder Trophy finalist, and he only played 23 games. So, and he finished second in voting. He had a 190 save goals against, and his save percentage was .932.
I would be curious again, who was he nominated with there? Just because
he was
who won?
Nominated with, so that was the year that Kaprizov won.
Okay.
Jason Robertson finished second, and Nedeljkovic was third.
Wow, that's a pretty good little.
To me, and it sucks you can't have the most valuable rookie portion as part of this conversation because, like Frank said, if it wasn't for Stuart Skinner, this fucking season's in the toilet.
You don't know if Calvin Pickard could have kind of come up and done something.
Mike Smith.
What about your friend Ollie? Why do you not believe in your friend Ollie? He could have come up and helped out.
Well, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's looking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad I inspired him with excellent photo.
Like, I'm the most valuable side of it. Like Vegas is showing right now, they're fine without Logan Thompson. Edmonton really hasn't shown for a very long stretch this year that they'd be okay without Stuart Skinner.
18-9 and whatever for Campbell.
Yeah, hey.
You know what? Sure, maybe that's a good point. And Seattle, I mean, if you took a 50-goal scorer or 50-point scorer out of that lineup, how screwed would they be? They actually might have kept humming along okay. So maybe that is something people will factor in, even if it's not like a definition of the award.
If you're listening to this right now, I want you to send us a message. ON Radio Podcast. Should Stu get some consideration for the Calder Trophy? I say yes. At the very least, a nomination.
Everyone thinks he's top 3.
Yeah,
yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you know, actually, Steve Mason wasn't even the best goalie that season on save percentage for a rookie?
Who was?
Pekka Rinne.
Oh, some guy named Pekka Rinne.
Yeah.
But Nashville didn't make the playoffs.
Wishes he was Steve Mason.
When did Columbus move to the East?
I think it was right before the last lockout.
Same year as the Detroit Red Wings.
No.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the Red Wings were in the Western Conference for a long time.
That'd be when like Vegas got here? Or?
Oh, yeah, it was when Vegas got here. Sorry. Yeah.
Right?
Interesting. I don't remember that.
Can't see
You
it. I was
imagine
going to say that's the only time I can see
Detroit
any shifting.
Where else did Steve Mason play? Like Philly? He was in Winnipeg, right?
Yes, I think he was in Winnipeg's system. I don't know if he actually.
No, yeah, he played 13 games for the Jets. That was his last little bit. And he's not even a guy who went overseas. Damn. He played 13 games with the Jets, one with the Manitoba Moose, and was like, fuck it, I'm out.
What was his career earnings?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I think off to Steve Mason. Was like $5 million a year.
Career.
So when's he dip? Like 27?
$25 million US.
You could live on that.
I think they gave him like a 6x4 deal out of that.
When did he dip? 2010 season.
And how old was he?
I don't know how old he was. That was his second season. He went from a 916 to a 901. And then in 7 games with Philly in 2013, he had a 944. Kind of picked it up for a few years.
So let's say he's like
in 13 games with Winnipeg, he had a 906.
Mid-20s, and he's like, all right, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to take my $25 million and go.
I think he was like 33 when he retired.
Goalies don't need personal trophies anyways.
15 years in the league?
Well, 2008.
When's he born?
We got some Remchuk Liam math going on here.
He was born in a hospital, I believe. The year was... He's now 34. He retired much earlier than that because he retired in 2018. So that would be -5.
Yep.
34, 28.
29.
And the Oilers had his number in 14 career games against the Edmonton Oilers. Steve Mason had an .870 save percentage and a .362 goals against average.
Another fun fact, Steve Mason, after playing in the playoffs in 2009, didn't play again until 2014.
So in other words, you don't want Stuart Skinner to win the Calder Trophy.
Yeah, I'm out on the Skinner.
Actually, we want to take him out of the voting completely.
Who do you think is the goalie over the last 10 years will do minimum 3 games played against the Oilers? Who's the goalie who has their number the most?
Like who is
the best goalie last 10 years, minimum 3 games played against the Oilers?
Can you tell us what conference they played in?
I'm finding the answer.
I'm just gonna.
Oh, you'll never guess.
I'm trying to think of it off my head. Like Pekka Rinne owned the Oilers for a long time.
Yeah.
That changed over the last handful of years.
Games.
So Pekka Rinne in 18 games against the Oilers over the last decade, 926 and a 213. Very good. Not the best.
How long did this guy play in the NHL for?
Well, maybe I shouldn't have used 3 games.
Dave Rittich.
I kept thinking Rittich too.
If we use 3 games as the low marker, it's Curtis McElhenney, who went 3-0 with a 9.51, 194. If you go with 10 games against the Oilers over the last decade as the minimum,
Schneider.
Devin Dubnyk.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
Son of a
Revenge games matter.
934, 166. Then it's Jimmy Howard. Then it's Mike Smith.
Jesus.
Well, we got
Howard played for the Oilers too.
If you can't beat him, join him.
No, Jimmy Howard was asked if he wanted to come to the Oilers and said, I'd rather sit at home.
Fair enough.
And who have the Oilers lit up the most? Minimum 10 games played?
Rittich.
Our old pal, Martin Jones, who has a miserable .884 save percentage against the Oilers in 21 games over the last decade.
That's his average. Career average, 884.
Yeah. And the worst goals against average is Jonas Korpisalo, 377.
Not this year though.
Nope.
But he gave up 5 to the Oilers, so his GAA would be trash. But his save percentage would be better this year.
Yeah.
That is true.
I want to hear from you. Hit us up. Should Stu get some Calder consideration? I say yes. I also say that you should go to Jasper. It's spring. It's lovely. Spring skiing is still here. Got to get on Marmot before all the snow goes away. Conditions are still wonderful as I'm looking at the Marmot Escape Card website. Snow's still in good shape, but summer's just around the corner. Golf course opens on May 31st. Start planning ahead. Go check out jasper.travel for all the options. Get yourself to the mountains. Promise you're going to have a good time. Liam, would you disagree?
I'd never.
See? Liam endorsed trip to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do. Jasper.travel. Get out there. Get out there. The thing I want to talk about next is how can we not talk about the game on, what was that, Wednesday against the Coyotes? First of all, fuck you with your 9 p.m. start. It was okay. I'll allow it. We made it through. But the McSixty. I mean, last year, if you remember correctly, everybody was wanking on about Austin Matthews getting a 60. Got that in an empty net, by the way. Connor McDavid's got his 60th on an OT winner. Absolute beauty. Same move, 2 attempts.
And 1 game less.
And smash the hell out of the stick beforehand to know who's boss.
Shout out to the CCM stick for holding tight.
They made a post about that today, actually. It was pretty funny.
CCM?
Yeah.
Our sticks don't break.
Yeah. But like also Connor, I mean, what the hell are you thinking, big man?
Yeah.
Like it's 3-on-3 OT. Even if like they had lost possession of the puck at that point. Then Draisaitl forced a turnover. Like, you got to get back in the play, my boy. There's no time to throw a temper
You would
tantrum.
have just James Reimer. Tackle somebody.
Yeah.
You don't
Show
get called
that
for that.
emotion. Show that emotion. It's almost playoff time. I want to see emotion. Smash that stick if you need to.
And you don't know
were
if-
vehemently against the late start, and yet you found yourself at Rogers Place. What was the vibes like in there?
Well, the wave started to begin when the Oilers were down 2-1, so my vibes were down on that.
Yeah, we
one.
can't
So
be
you're
doing the-
saying the wave is what helped the Oilers win in the long run?
Oh
No, I'm not, because Colorado.
They were down though.
Yeah, but then Colorado scored again when they started to do it.
Colorado scored.
That is impressive.
Arizona
How tired were
scored.
you?
the Avalanche just showed up and we're like, goal.
When it became 2-2, people started doing it again. That's when you saw it go around the most. And then Arizona scored like almost immediately after, and everyone just sat down after. But the vibes were pretty good. You could 100,000,000% tell that the Oilers Entertainment Group was trying to put on a show because they were on national TV. I have never seen so many games played, stoppage games played in a game ever. It was every single stoppage. It was a game. It was
Well,
weird.
that's not on TV.
No, but like TNT's
It's the
there, right? So
perception,
they're like
yeah.
putting on the show of it all and everything. They like announced that we were on like national TV
Do you
across
think-
Canada and North America.
Do you think
and
Sportsnet
US.
takes a little shot?
They should. Because
should.
you know what? I was sitting there, I was thinking about TNT the other day because after post game, Biz was talking to McDavid, asking dumb questions. McDonough.
Donaire.
She was talking about Donners and Madonna and Donaires. But my thought was I went back to the playoffs when Colorado was here and TNT had that big thing set up right in the moss pit. Gretzky was sitting there. People are screaming at them. It was a vibe. And yet Sportsnet, they don't even give them a pregame show.
Dude, like in between their analysis, the way that they break down the game and the plays, but
They got the net out and they're
it
joking
actually is
and-
really, really fucking good. And it makes Sportsnet look like,
pathetic?
yes,
To be honest,
it's terrible.
they're
Take
just going
that.
through the motions is what
It's terrible. It's
Maybe
like they're
we
taking
should launch our own intermission show.
I think that Sportsnet and the Canadian broadcasters can get comfortable. They just can be comfortable because we're going to watch the hockey whether they're
exactly
doing
what it
anything.
They don't
or
need
not.
to grow the game.
So-
Yeah.
but
That's exactly what it is.
How crazy is it that Sportsnet now has Keith Yandel and Anson Carter, who try to show some personality on when they do it? It's not the same. Then they go to TNT and they're like completely different. And
Yeah.
it's essentially, it's half of the cast that they do for Sportsnet,
But
right?
here's what I don't like. Worry and joking around. And then you watch Yandel and Anson Carter on the intermissions for Oilers games. And it's like, let's give a pick for the Norris. I like Erik Karlsson. I don't think he plays defense.
But that's
Bet
not
365.
That's set up by like
But
the
that's-
producer or something, isn't it? Like,
But
they
it's-
have, like, a bit
Exactly.
of-
Yeah. But like they're being not muzzled, but like
they're told
let 'em
told
have fun.
Yeah, they're told to like follow this, don't do that.
It's the personalities you put them across from. Tyler's exactly right. To
No,
me,
but you have to
put,
allow them to have their
yes, but
personalities.
you put them across from Elliot Friedman and
Elliot can be funny.
Ron and
Elliot's
but
funny, and
they're-
so's what's his face from Vancouver?
But they go back to the exact same tropes that they've always done on Canadian television. That's just it.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to.
Who's
do anything
facing
more.
the most pressure in the playoff race?
But also, like, TNT knows what they have there because the NBA show on TNT, I don't even care about basketball, but I see that shit all the time because those guys are having fun.
Yeah.
Like the clip of Shaq getting pushed into the Christmas tree.
The best.
by
See,
Chuck,
and I don't even
Big
like,
man down.
I don't even compare it to that because those are just like big personalities, and that's not really basketball stuff. What I'm more impressed with, and I do enjoy that part of the hockey aspect too, but what I really enjoyed is the breakdown of the analysis of the game.
Yeah, it is much better. They do have more freedom to do.
Yeah,
it.
like I was watching a game, and I don't know which game it was, but it was Sarah Nurse and it was Lundqvist, and she was explaining what she's thinking about when she's going down on a breakaway, and then he explains what he's thinking about when he's facing a breakaway, and it was actually really, really well done. And you don't get an iota of that from Sportsnet.
Yeah, I do like the people that Sportsnet have when they do the games. Like I think Elliot does have
Elliot's
some good
entertaining. I like
personality,
Elliot.
but
Yeah.
he does bring a serious side to it too, and I think it kind of works. And like the guys who have it, like I know Kevin Bieksa, like people are mixed on him, but he does have a personality.
Bieksa's
on the
really
show.
good.
I think
Makes
I
it
like
lot
Bieksa a
different.
lot.
Yeah, and then obviously Keith Yandel should be better on that show, but he's just got to be more entertaining. But like I think I can't remember you said, but off the top, like We're going to watch either way. That game started at 8:52 the other night, and we all watched it. Tyler and I went to the damn game.
Yeah. So I knew it didn't, I knew puck drop wasn't going to be until after 8:50. So like I didn't get to the spot I parked, which was like a 10-minute walk away, until like 8:35. And there's no one walking in. It felt so weird. Smart. Then I went in and got my beer, and the person who serves at that bar was like, did you guys get a heads up that today's game was going to be a late start? And we're like, oh yeah. Like, because everyone was in their seats. Like usually there's people straggling in for the anthem and stuff, but like you could tell people have been sitting in their seats like 15 minutes being like, what the hell?
I had something going on Wednesday night. So when I got home, I turned on my TV expecting that I'd be midway through the first period or something. It was like 8:55 and the anthems were still going. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Crazy.
Anyway, yesterday on Better Late Than Never, that was kind of something that annoyed me. Like, they're trying to grow the game. There was only 2 games in the NHL on Wednesday. Connor McDavid scored his 60th goal of the season at what would have been 1:30 a.m.
Those guys aren't going to watch the game at fucking 11:30 p.m. out there.
It was a good joke by Connor at the end of the game, though, to say that his parents will watch it in the morning after.
I imagine they're 2 of the only people in Ontario that actually watch it live. Outside of the Oilers fans that are living in Ontario.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't believe
media guys out east aren't up for the games anyways.
Yeah.
Mike McKenna made a good point about it today on Oilersnation Every Day. He was just like, it's just kind of a downfall of having the best player in the league play in a mountain time zone. Like, it sucks. And like, if you're going to, the thing is, I don't think it's always necessarily, I've had a lot of thoughts about this because I hated it, but like, just say the game's going to start at 8:52.
They did, didn't they?
No,
officially.
The NHL schedule says 8:30.
Well, yeah, that does, but everywhere
do what
else,
baseball does and tell me what time the pitch goes.
Everywhere else was. I even think the Oilers may even tweet it out as going to be at 8:52.
Gregor tweeted
the official
out
NHL website didn't say that, and I think that's what prevents a lot of people, because people are sat there and say, okay, well, the game's going to start at 8:37, and it doesn't, and you get distracted by things, and the next thing you're not watching the game.
But we can't say a thing about that because you had Kobe Bryant play on the West Coast. That's 1 hour even more.
Yeah, but playing for the Lakers, like that's a bit of an exception. It's not like he was playing for the Sacramento Kings.
What's the difference? Game time's game time.
Yeah, but the Lakers are like, that's like a cult following around them, you know?
Like Steph Curry is the same thing. He plays in the
Pacific. That's a
Pacific.
good point.
I think the NBA is a lot different, because I know this has kind of been a point. Like tonight, there's an NBA game at 8:30. By the way, they also have 10 games on the slate on a Friday night in the NBA.
I just also, the thing that kind of irritated,
was there 3 today?
The NHL.
The thing that irritated me about some people complaining about the Oilers start is sometimes people talk out of the same, they're out of 2 sides of their mouth, where it's like, oh, the NHL needs to stagger start times. Like, what the hell? You can't have 2 games overlapping. And then they stagger the start times, and people were like, whoa, the game starts so late. It's like, you can't have them both. Like,
people just like to complain. It's easy to complain.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just weird. Like, the NBA has done such a good job of being able to promote themselves as an actual league that it doesn't matter when games are starting, but NHL just isn't even close to it. Like,
so what would have been your solution for Wednesday night?
For Wednesday, literally start at 8:00. I know.
While the third period of...
No, just start that one at 5. Literally push both games ahead by 2 hours. The Leafs start at 5:00 every single game here.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock out there.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's still 5. Like, people are still watching. You might, it's just kind of like, really, do you need to start?
Like Hockey Night?
They started 52 minutes later than it should have.
Hockey Night in Canada has had this going 5-8 for fucking 100 years.
Yeah.
I think we need to stop making 11 p.m. such a late time.
Yeah, but like when you also have a bunch of work to do after the game is over,
and that's fair. But I mean, you've got journalists or whatever. They get their
but for casual fans or for fans of the game that have to work in casual fans, people who maybe aren't extreme diehards of the Oilers, who are like, man, I got to be up at 5:30 tomorrow. I'm not staying up to watch this.
I got buddies, even that, like hardcore buddies, that are just like, I got to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. I can't stay up for this.
I guess it's about the kids.
6 hours sleep. I had like 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm feeling.
Yeah, but you're a
chipper.
machine though.
I guess I'm unique in the sense that, like, I have to run hockeyfights.com. I have to be up until the last game is over. It doesn't matter when it is. Like, I don't get the whole like writers and sports writers in the East Coast not watching games because it's in the fucking mountain zone. Like, that's your job. It's your job to know and watch the hockey, and you know when the games are happening.
And then we let these guys vote on awards by the fact that they watch
that's
60% of those teams on TSN highlights in the morning.
That's what annoyed me. It's like Connor's 60th goal live, 1:30 Eastern.
Bag Milk, if I came to you and I said, yeah, hockeyfights.com, I'm sorry, man, I got fucking shit to do in the morning. I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock. If there's a fight after 10 o'clock, I'm not doing it.
I would have been like, who's covering you?
You'd be okay with that. You'd be okay with that maybe once in a while, but that's not my fucking job, is to cut out at 10 o'clock because, the late games are late. Like, I don't know. I guess because I live on the West Coast, quote unquote, I think differently, but it just drives me nuts.
Anyway,
The hockey game was good.
you know what? I know there were some people I saw on Twitter just kind of shitting on the Oilers that the Arizona Coyotes took them to overtime, but like that team's playing some good hockey right now.
11 straight games. They've either won or lost by one or less.
Yeah. And the puck line today, +1.5 is +140 for Arizona against Colorado.
Aren't we
Who they
nine?
just took to a shootout the other day?
We're 9-2 right now, right?
The Oilers, yes.
Yeah. And people want to complain.
Yes.
You're 9-2.
Yeah, but
and people want to complain.
you can see people being weary of it because they just
9-2 and you want to complain.
They just played the San Jose Sharks on Monday and did the exact same thing where they kind of kept that team in the game.
That goaltender kept them in the fucking game. The other team gets paid to play too.
Of course, but that's what the fans of the Edmonton Oilers expect, is the team is going to be able to put their foot on the throat.
And then they get all whiny about an 8:52 p.m. start.
So then my point here is Arizona, they're playing good hockey right now.
It's a pesky team.
Yeah.
That's why everybody thought it was going to be a gimme. I didn't think it was going to be a gimme. I was looking at, granted, they're not as great on the road, but like when the Oilers are in Arizona on Monday, they're 20-11-3 at home. That's a good fucking record for a team at home. And the Oilers better be dialed in or they're going to lose.
Are we 9 games over 500 at home?
Let me see here.
Honestly, I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close.
8 games over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few times this year I've bet on Arizona to win because they're just so disrespected by the Bucks. Like, it's absolutely wild.
Wasn't it this year at the beginning of the year when betting against Arizona was like your go-to? It was like
was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
It didn't matter what the game was. He was like, here's 30 bucks, put it against Arizona. Sir, do you want to know who they're
Not only was it betting against Arizona all the time last year, we were doing puck line against Arizona all the time.
And it was awesome. We were such a good run.
It's like when Homer just threw the money down. He's like, do you want to pick a team? He's like, nah, just keep the money.
To the point too, Rick, and I'm just explaining, I think, not really defending, but like Reimer, who had a great game against us on Monday, just got lit up by the Canucks last night, 7 goals on 21 shots.
Yeah,
so I mean,
happens.
like, yes, I guess that
Sometimes
that goalie,
Connor scores 5 points in a
course.
game and sometimes he gets 0.
That's where fans, the fans that are maybe not as locked in as you are just like expect that team to be able to beat the Coyotes.
Does that fan have a great day at work every day they go to work?
Probably.
I think it's a glass half full.
No.
I think it's a glass half full, glass half empty thing. Like, I view it as a positive that, hey, even when this team has their B or C level game, they find ways to win.
Yeah, you gotta
they got
grind
the
them out.
result. They didn't play great. Whatever. Throw it out onto the next one. They're going to need to be better against Vegas and LA, no doubt. But let's judge them on those games when they happen and not sit there and be like, you barely beat Arizona and San Jose. There's no way you beat
team
Vegas.
down the highway. Look at the team down the highway. They don't bring their A game and they lose. Even when they bring their A game, they lose. But like, there's a huge difference there when the margins are this thin. And the point that I'm getting at is the Oilers are still picking up wins. 2 points are going on the board.
And playing a team like these bottom teams, like it or not, it's humans. There is a human aspect to sports. You don't get as up for these games.
And they get up for it.
And let's not forget when the Oilers
They're playing loose too. Like,
dude,
you got
when we were
nothing to play
trash,
for.
when we were trash, we used to take good teams and lose by a goal. Nobody sat there and said, "Oh, that team just beat the Oilers by a goal."
Well, they did a little bit.
You know, you're not watching the other fans
Media,
getting all upset. Oh, Dallas barely beat Edmonton. Edmonton's got 32 points in game 84 or 82.
We would just
And
troll
also,
the shit
like,
out of their fans.
Some of these teams too, like being a spoiler means something.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
they're playing loose. Like, to me, I watched Arizona play and they were playing loose hockey. They look like they're out there looking to play for jobs next year.
The more impressive thing about Arizona is like their salary cap and who's playing and how well they're playing. Like,
Half their team is dead.
it's true.
Not really. Lest anybody believe they're actually dead. They're just on the LTIR.
Canadians fans.
And their goalie had a great game.
Yeah, those are Montreal Canadiens fans. Those are all dead.
Yeah. Or almost anyways.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
There's a handful, pocket.
If you're listening to this and you're a Canadians fan, you're going to die soon.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sucks to suck.
The other thing I want to talk about from that game is, first of all, Leon Draisaitl. He just won the best passer by the NHLPA survey. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but he had 4 assists on Wednesday. all of them were stunning. All of them.
Didn't you say like earlier in that day or something like that, Connor was the better passer?
Yeah, I did. Quickly ate my words on that. I was like, I'm surprised Connor didn't get more love because I think he might be the better passer. Leon saw it and was like, oh yeah, you little twerp. Boom, 4 apples. Listen, blind backhand pass to Nuge on his goal. Beautiful play to spring him on the breakaway.
That was like a 110-foot pass right on the tape.
Right on the tape.
Chintzy second assist on the one McDavid banked in off that guy's back. Leon probably just doesn't even want that one to count. And then in OT, he does what he does.
It was on his one knee, right? And he
one knee.
Choked down on the stick.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
He is ridiculous with the pass.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know. So really was not at all surprised to see him voted as the best passer in the NHL. Just really quickly looking at that. In a must-win game, which forward do you think would be the most impactful? 59.3% of it, bless you, Dan, of the players voted for Connor. Runner-up was Sid with only 11% of the vote.
Ouch.
When it came to best stick handler, McDavid finished second next to Patty Kane. Kane got 46.1. Connor got 28.7. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane's always been able to dangle.
Legacy.
Yeah, try and do it at 300 miles an hour like Connor does, though. But yeah, Patty Kane's ridiculous.
The players voted. Crosby was the most complete player at 30.1, and McDavid finished fourth in that one at 11%. Rogers Place got the second place for best ice at 14.7%. The Bell Center in Montreal got 35% in first overall. So there you go. The Oilers got a little bit of love in there, and it makes sense. Makes sense.
Feels like the team, speaking about Rogers Place, feels like the team has really figured that out. Because I feel like early days at Rogers, there was some complaints about the ice that we had heard about.
Yep.
Lucic bitched about it a lot. I remember that.
I heard Cassian wasn't happy about it either. Yeah. But anyways, seems like it's coming around now.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
You know what else is coming around? The Oilers' record on home ice. They were on a run there where they really struggled at home to start the year. They were not the dominant force that you've expected, but this is what they've done as of late at Rogers. 4-3 over the Yotes, 5-4 over the Sharks. They beat Dallas. They beat Ottawa. They beat Winnipeg. They beat Toronto. Tight game against the Bruins where they actually played it pretty well. And they beat the Flyers the game before that, picked up 2 shootout losses before that. Like their last 10 at home is stunningly good.
2023
needed that too, because last year Rogers Place was a tough place for other teams to play, and to start this season, it just wasn't the case.
So you're saying they're peaking right now, and perhaps the perfect time.
I actually heard that
when Matthias Ekholm shows up, eh?
Right?
I heard that actually from the Barn Burner crew, that they feel like the Oilers are peaking at the absolute. Well, they said it was the wrong time, but
What would they know?
Maybe a little early.
yeah,
But still.
But yeah,
But if you want to try win the Pacific Division and win the conference, peak right now because you got a big week coming up.
Yeah, it's a huge week coming up. We're going to look at the schedule. But the thing that sucks about this is the Oilers are 8-2-0 in their last 10, and they didn't gain any ground anywhere, really.
Yeah.
LA is 8-0-2. Vegas is 8-2-0. Seattle lost last night in OT.
We have 2 Vegas and 1 LA coming up, right?
Yeah, and 1 Arizona.
So let's look at the schedule then real quick. So we got Vegas coming up tomorrow on Saturday night. That is a late game on Hockey Night in Canada. I apologize. It's 8 o'clock. I had nothing to do with it.
I hope it's 8:52.
is it an 8:21 puck drop though?
Probably.
8:52.
Yeah, probably. Then from there, they got a back-to-back Monday, Tuesday. They are in Arizona on Monday, then back to Vegas. That's going to be an interesting one. Now, my question for you guys. Arizona, like we were just talking about, playing really good hockey at home. Do you start Stu on Monday, hoping that you kick off that 2-game set with a win? Or do you save him for Tuesday against Vegas?
Tuesday against Vegas, no brainer for me.
Yeah, I think they're going to be putting up some offense in Arizona. So I would start Campbell there.
Liam, what do you think?
When would I start Campbell?
Yep.
I would do it Tuesday in Vegas.
Frankly, I'd start Pickard, but that's not up to me.
Is that Vegas?
Yep.
I thought it was Arizona.
Tuesday's Vegas, Monday's Arizona.
Oh, Monday.
I changed my answer.
Unless you want an absolute,
Don't write it down in pen.
would you put on a show in Vegas and start Campbell? Although last time it was played,
Is everyone
good.
fully against having him play both?
Stu?
Skinner?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Hellebuck just did.
Yeah, but I think you need, you're in a different spot than the Jets. The Oilers' spot in the playoffs is solidified. You're playing for seeding. The last thing you want to do if you're Edmonton is have an overworked goalie going into the playoffs. Winnipeg needs to get in, so they'll overwork Hellebuck. It's kind of their thing. It's their bit.
Okay, but you don't honestly think one extra game in there would overwork him, do you?
Yeah, but it's like a straw that broke the camel's back thing, right? Like when one extra game, maybe not, but then do you play them the next time you have back-to-backs? Or what about the last game of the year? Like, I don't know.
Is this the last
What if the
back-to-back?
playoffs have a back-to-back for us
there's
again?
one with San Jose and Anaheim later on.
They've got one more. It's actually LA and Anaheim.
Oh, okay.
Didn't we have a back-to-back last year during the playoffs?
No,
Probably
no,
not. It was all
they
over
don't do
the-
that.
It felt like a dream.
So
used to way back.
Oh, really?
Back in the 90s, you'd see that.
Before my time.
Yeah.
Looking.
I would also so let's just round out the schedule here. So this is a huge week for the Oilers coming up. Jason Greger wrote about that at OilersNation.com today. Vegas Saturday, Arizona Monday, back in Vegas on Tuesday, and then LA is here on Thursday. That rounds out the month. So we've got a huge week of games coming up. And then lastly, the 1st of April, the Ducks are in town on a Saturday.
I like how this schedule works out for us when it comes to the next 3 games. Because we're going to fly into Arizona, probably midday Sunday, right? Can't really mess around at ASU. You can't really get into too much trouble there because you got a game. And then
There are co-eds.
then that game's over. You got to get the hell out. Go right to bed.
Co-eds.
Yes.
Right to bed in Vegas. That game's over. Get them the hell out.
I think they're pretty dialed in. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about that either. I'm
Exam week.
talking shit.
You did call it exam week, and I like that nickname.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big test coming up. No question.
Better study.
Should make a fun graphic for that.
This team is so good against the best other teams. I'm not too worried about it.
The thing that I just hope is that they just get a better handle on some of the details. Like, I think that the games against San Jose and Arizona, there was just a couple of times where they were just sloppy in their own zone, sloppy with the passes, cheating for offense a little bit.
Not back checking.
I did this rant on ONE. If I see Evander Kane not back check and just slap his stick on the ice to try trick the guy into passing to him again, I'm going to lose my shit. He did it twice against Arizona.
And he's got to sit there and eat his words again, just like the Leon.
Good, but even if it works once, bro, the success rate's brutal, and he's like doing that instead of like hustling and putting in
Like,
effort.
that's also a beer league move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I called it today on the show. I was like, this isn't beer league, dude. You got to back check hard.
A-Rod did it at third base, and it worked very well for them.
He got in trouble for it. People didn't like it.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was funny.
I think, honestly, at this time of year against those teams, I think I kind of understand where these guys are. You shouldn't be, but like I said, the human factor, you're not going to have that 100% or 100%. Come April 17th or whatever like that, I think you'll see a complete different, well, not a completely different, but you'll see them go that extra 2-3 strides.
I hope so. You got to ramp up the intensity.
And it'll be again, and I think you'll see it Saturday, and I think you'll see it Tuesday as well. Monday could be interesting, but we'll see.
Next thing I want to talk about real quick is World Cup of Hockey. Reason I bring it up is the World Baseball Classic just wrapped up. USA versus Japan. That last out was Shohei versus Mike Trout it was
Incredible.
everywhere. It was electric, and it brought about the conversation about the World Cup of Hockey again. Connor said, we've been asking for this. I'm paraphrasing. We've been asking for this. We want it. We want a best on best tournament. Is it doable, or there's a certain big,
Here's
black cloud that probably should participate in a tournament like this that is not going to?
I think the NHL is using Russia as a bit of an excuse. If you really wanted to put on a best on best tournament, you could find a way around it. Do what the Olympics did when there was the doping thing.
Some countries will pull out.
Committee, Russian Federation.
Some countries will pull. I guarantee you, Czech Republic will not go at all.
It is a bit different
if there's
now,
a Russian
but-
team, a version of Russian team, or not Russian team. If those guys are there, there's going to be 2-3 countries that do not go.
Okay, then you could also just do no Russians at the tournament.
Well,
Yeah, and
juniors,
that's-
juniors have just done it, and it went well.
Forgot they even existed.
Yeah, just to pretend they don't exist, essentially, right? Like, who cares? Hockey is a sport not just for Russia; it's for the whole world that we're trying to get.
They
involved,
really
right?
should have had this done 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like when you knew you had 2 Olympics coming up that were probably out based on hours and based on everything you probably weren't going to go for, you needed to be ahead of it at that point. They weren't, but we already know that this is not a league that's very good at marketing. They're not very good at selling themselves. Like, that's just not really their thing. They kind of just say, hey, it's on television, go watch it. Now give us all your money.
It seems like to a fan from the outside looking in that the only time the NHL and the PA get together to talk about anything is when we are at the cusp of work stoppages. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm fed up with it. I want the NHL and the PA to start figuring some shit out ahead of the work stoppages and ahead of the panic time when we're trying to get a deal done ahead of a deadline. It seems silly to me. We now have a new head of the PA. Let's start this conversation.
I
never will, because they need to wait till the deadline before they get pushed out. I mean, that's in every sport, everything. Look at the Flames in their arena. Look at our arena. It's stupid.
The other thing that makes me mad with the NHL is like Bill Daly's already come out and been like, hey, it's too tight to pull one off in 2024. It just can't happen.
In 2020, what year?
But
you know,
it's 2023. But just tell us the truth. It's because Russia. There's the question mark and you want them there and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not because it's too tight. It is doable.
The rant I went on, I did this on the radio earlier today, but like this is the league who in the matter of a couple of months, found a way to organize a bubble with most of their teams in 2 cities at the same time in the middle of a pandemic. You're telling me that 18 months out, you couldn't be like, all right, everybody go to Toronto 2 weeks before the season starts. We're doing best on best in Toronto. Really, that's too hard.
It's nonsense.
But be honest and just say it's the Russian factor. Because that's exactly what it is. I don't know if anyone's going to sit
tournament.
And no one's sitting here going to believe
they're scared of pissing off Ovi and the boys, and they don't want to deal with the delicate balance of telling them they're not coming.
Yeah, and they sit there and go, well, if we wait one more year, think about the revenue and all the other BS that comes with it.
Sometimes you just got to have a hard conversation at work, Gary.
Yeah, Gary.
That's all it comes to.
How many teams would you want to see at this World Cup of hockey?
8.
2 pools of 4. They each play each other. Top 4 advance to a semifinals or whatever you want to do, however you want to make it work.
I think we make it 300 countries.
I think it's interesting
best on best.
Because I wonder how they would do some kind of qualifying for this. Because at basketball is the other example. Like the top teams don't qualify. Like the US doesn't have to qualify for the Olympics or the World Championships or whatever. Like I think it's the 2 finalists from the last tournament get to go automatically to the next one. A couple other teams figure it out. But like if it is truly the World Cup of hockey, it would be interesting to see some not so typical teams there. Like who's the shot qualifying? Like make it a thing. Like I think that'd be really fun. Like
you could do.
I'm talking.
You'd have to work with the double I.
Best teams.
You could do a 10 team then and have some sort of qualifying for the last 2 spots. But let's face it, there's only 2 teams, 3 if you count Russia, that have a chance of winning anything, right?
Oh, I'd say 4.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Finland's got the gold.
Sweden.
You
USA,
can't do
Russia.
qualifying.
I don't think they have.
I guess you could do like a World Juniors kind of thing where you have multiple tournaments going on at the same time. I'm getting advanced here.
No,
but then
you're
teams
not.
Get relegated and promoted and stuff.
You think the NHL is going to?
I'm thinking 20 years down the road.
No,
maybe 50 at this rate.
Because the NHL just wants to showcase the NHL players. Even expanding to 10, those rosters would be so full of non-NHL players that they don't give a shit.
It's true.
They're not going to be
an NHL tournament.
They're not going to be like, oh, we need to have Austria so like Thomas Vanek's kid can like play, and then the roster's filled with like a bunch of guys who aren't in the NHL.
Or a great Oiler for a day or 2.
Or you're going to get like the Canada basketball qualifiers where we send like our B list players. And then if we ever do qualify, then all the A-listers are like, oh, thanks for qualifying us,
never
guys.
go anyways. I have a big issue with Canadian basketball and the big players never going.
Insane. I never understood the idea.
Hate it.
I never understood the idea of
we wanted more passion, Tyler. You gave it.
Out of not playing for your country at a sporting level. Isn't that what every athlete? Shouldn't that be the goal?
It's funny.
Like
you see so many Americans that want to do with the dream team and all that cool. Steve Nash really didn't do it, especially near when he was at his best and he was older and whatever. You see guys now who still aren't going out there and doing it. And then you see Fonzie. Out there doing whatever he can for his country. And in that case, he's dragging his team further.
I was going to say Happy Days was a long time ago.
It was funny you say him because that is a really good example of someone who will just go like through it all to play for his country.
Yeah.
I was watching highlights from when Canada qualified for the World Cup and they were playing, I think it was St. Kitts. It was literally a park. And they just put they put a fence around it, and there was just people. There was literally like a side road, and people
zoom
just,
back a bit. There's a kid on the swings.
Yeah, there's just like guys were just sat on like the curb watching the game, and you got Alphonso Davies, who's literally like a Champions League winner playing on this pitch, and he's just like somehow we can get that figured out with a country like St. Kitts on like a FIFA level, but like Canada can't figure out. NHL can't figure it out with his own damn players. It's absolutely insane. The storylines would be incredible.
Know what else is incredible, Liam? A trip with our friends at AMA Travel. maybe you can have a World Cup of hockey in Toronto, but maybe you want to go watch the Jays like Tyler is this summer. You know what he does? He reaches out to AMA Travel. He says, I need your help. And they go, okay, Tyler, we're going to put together a little something for you. You're going to make this easy. Done. There you go.
Got a hotel room in Golden, BC. Boom. AMA Travel. Got a hotel room in Spokane, Washington. Boom.
You're a
AMA
big
Travel.
Blue Jays guy. You going for the home opener?
I'm so tempted, but no, it's because it's during playoffs.
Yeah.
No,
Wanna go
it's
see
before.
Ed
It's like
Sprague.
April 10th, and the playoffs don't start until like 17th.
They'll start a little bit. Oh yeah, I almost
No,
could
it shouldn't
swing
be. And with your
Look
like,
at the wheels turning.
I ain't a killer, but don't push
I'm
me.
some sort of
encouraging him
I'm
to
some sort of
avoid the grind.
press person. I'm sure you can get like a nice little tour of behind the scenes of the new building.
That is
What
cool.
you're missing out on.
I'm looking forward to going. I'm probably going to bounce to Toronto at some point for even just a work thing in the summer. And I'm going to absolutely go check out.
I like. You know what? I'm in on that work thing.
You actually might be in on the work thing.
Oh.
You don't know about the work thing.
Oh. Okay, I guess I'm going.
You want to check those dates at those other hotels, by the way.
Yeah, no, you might actually be looped in on that, Tyler. Next up, I want to talk about real quick. It is time for Matthew Arwanick on Twitter to start with the magic number. Tyler, which is?
It is 14. So Matt Iwanek has calculated it from the Oilers versus the Jets is the team we're trying to beat out for the magic number.
They're 5 points up in the wild card currently.
Yeah. His reasoning is if the Predators were to win all their games in hand, the Jets would be the last team out of the playoffs and the team that could jump the Oilers and pass them. So you want to use them as kind of the outer marker for the minimum the Oilers need to do to make the playoffs. And that is either gain 14 points from now to the end of the season or have the Jets lose out on 14 points or somewhere in the middle of those two.
I always look forward to when Iwanek starts tweeting out the magic number. I'm not smart enough to figure out the math. He figures it out for me. So I just check his Twitter.
I need a
every
couple
day.
more weeks yet before I can get involved.
Yeah. I need to really
Bring it
dumb
down a
that
bit,
down.
yeah.
Yeah. Once we get down to 3 or 4, then the old bag milk's in the mix. That math works out for me. So I'm just excited about that. I love to see it. Tyler, we're playing against the Golden Knights tomorrow. Huge game for the Edmonton Oilers, but they got a little bit of injury trouble. Yes.
Yeah, they do. Riley Smith injured, gone back to Vegas. Alec Martinez, personal reasons, gone back to Vegas. Logan Thompson, who made his first start in over a month against Calgary, left the game. Mike McKenna told me he thinks it was a hip injury and Logan Thompson was leaving the ice, kind of holding that area. So Logan Thompson is back in Vegas. That is a top 4 D-man, a top 6 winger, and their number 1 goalie,
So we're gonna
all
get
down
quick
and
tomorrow.
out right now. We're getting quick tomorrow. And he just finished a run in his last 3 starts. He's allowed 12 goals against.
Ooh, I think my Edmonton wins the division bet might be
That is like a nice.
yeah,
I did a little sprinkle on that.
like a horse that wins at the last second.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
Like a plastic pony that wins at the last second.
Yeah, I dig it.
Jonathan Quick and Jack Campbell have the same save percentage this season. 882.
And everyone sits here and tells you, "Oh my God, Jack Campbell's having a terrible year." And then,
Well, he has
and,
that.
but then look in comparison. Look in comparison.
Wow.
Are you
Campbell
hearing the
is-
same
but
thing
Quick
about?
is
Are
too.
you hearing the same thing about Quick? No.
Well,
Yeah, that's
except
why
that
LA
you
got rid
are.
of him.
No, as soon
That's
as he
why
got
LA.
traded, everyone's like, "Oh my God, this goal, he's going to be reinvigorated." Blah blah blah
Yes,
blah blah
but
blah
not
blah
me.
blah blah.
That was weird. I thought everyone's like, oh, he's going to turn his season around. So, well, there's 20 games left. He's been brutal all year.
I also love that,
He's
like,
37.
they're like, oh, he's going to be so fired up. Now he's going to play so good. And it's like, listen, like the thing stopping Jonathan Quick was not how fired up he was. Like he was plenty fired up. He still sucked ass.
Yep. Got shipped out though. No statue for Jonathan Quick.
He's probably thankful, to be honest.
That statue.
One turned out.
I love it so much. I was cleaning out my desktop the other day and I was just going through all my random screenshots and getting rid of shit. And there was the fucking Dustin Brown statue. And I laughed out loud for no reason other than the picture.
They really got to stop making statues or find someone who's much better.
I don't
at it.
understand how the Gretzky statue came out in the late 80s and we haven't improved the technology whatsoever because they nailed that one.
Including
Yeah,
facial
you-
hair and stuff is the big mistake in my opinion.
Ronaldo has no facial hair.
Yeah,
If you
well,
look at
yeah,
his,
that
they
one
were
is the
terrible.
That's his eye sockets.
I love that.
was
That thing looked like it was made on the sun.
Whoever
It's melting
thought
as he made it.
putting his eyeballs into like a melon baller and then putting them into his eyes was a good idea. It was
The side by side always obviously Ronaldo's fucking handsome, and then you see that goddamn statue, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this?"
That guy's from the Goonies.
But even the other, like the Joey statue that the Oilers did, nailed it,
Oh, yeah, the one of him outside the locker room is great.
nailed it.
Edmonton, good statue city.
LA can't get anything done with
Terrible.
entertainment.
No. And why would you ever want to go there? Nothing to do. Boring. Statues suck.
Yep.
Yeah, and the ocean's really cold to get into.
Yeah.
And the Sharks.
San Jose.
And in the ocean.
Literal sharks. You ever seen Jaws?
Barracudas
Speaking of
as well.
Jaws, somebody remade the poster of Jaws with an actual picture of the shark. So, like Jaws is like the shark at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then they managed to get a picture of a shark, like you could like see it was like side by side. It was almost the same.
I've seen that shark. The actual Jaws shark.
The Jaws shark.
I did. I went to Universal Studios when I was a little kid.
They're still
It was
alive.
very exciting.
I wish the Megalodon was a thing.
Yeah.
You wish the Megalodon was.
Do you have a death wish?
No, but I'm also not going to the depths of the ocean where
Yeah,
he
I mean,
hangs
like
out.
he's not climbing out to Edmonton and wandering around the river valley.
You never know when you might.
You never know. A whale swam into the River Thames once in London. Not once, twice.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that
So we were
whale's going to get
saying
really, really
there's a
creative to
chance
hit us here in Edmonton.
that there might be a megalodon swimming up the North Saskatchewan sometime soon.
He's coming underneath
Could
us.
be real.
Megalodon, he's on the Queen. It's right there. Just Queen boat right there.
Beached as he goes by the River Queen on Accidental Beach.
Extinct.
Another thing I want to get to really quickly is it was a year ago today that we first met Ben Stelter. And I want to make sure that we just kind of remember that the impact that he made in a very short time in the city. Again, 1 year ago today, he was a Scotiabank skater. That's when that photo of he and Connor came out that went around everywhere. I've got the hockey card of that picture on my desk here at Nation HQ. So I just wanted to give a little memory to Ben here today as well.
And shout out to his parents as well, who with the Ben Stelter Fund are like keeping that movement going, right? You
Yep.
think about all the kids now with the money they've raised. The Oilers have been great for them. The community keeps being great. Think of all the money that's being raised from that. All the kids who are going to get experiences like Ben had, who wouldn't have gotten those experiences if it wasn't for the Ben Stelter movement
100%.
and everything they do.
100%. Good point, Tyler.
And I was just going to say, it was a global impact, right? It wasn't just Oilers fans. It wasn't just Edmonton. It was everywhere. And the Stelters, they still feel that to this day. And it's wonderful to see that, little Benny gave us so much.
100%. Nice. Well put, Dan. Changing gears a little bit, just quickly checking in for our friends at Betway. What have you guys been doing lately? Because I'll tell you what I've been doing. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 2+ points. He's hit it 3 of his last 5 games, and the payouts are nice. They're real nice.
Nice and juicy.
I love it. Also doing Oilers money line, Connor 2+ points has also been very nice over the last little bit. The guy's unstoppable. So if you want some money in your jeans, that's what I'm doing. Tyler, Liam.
I've been hammering the puck line the last 2 games. Don't listen to me.
I
Shots,
I have
baby,
been going
shots.
with, so this is how I line it up. Oilers win.
Yep.
Oilers team goals over 3.5.
Nice.
And then I sprinkle it on, well, I was doing McDavid over 1.5, and then that soon turned into 2.5, which is a steep one. So then I switched it to McDavid goal, or I'll just do Draisaitl 2 points or more.
The funny thing about sports betting right now is scoring goals in the NHL is not easy. But when you go to bet on a Connor McDavid anytime goal, you look at the odds and you're like, I don't even see the point in doing this.
There isn't the point
Yeah.
in doing that. It's ridiculous.
It's not as fun.
It is wild.
You're taking the fun out of hockey, Connor McDavid. Stop scoring goals.
He's just basically, he's the sportsbook's line right now for everything else.
Yeah.
They use him as the barrier for everyone
Our
else.
friends at Betway have lost so much money. People are betting on Connor McDavid. They're like, I'm not giving you good odds today on this. I've been fooled before. Provided you are legal gambling age, please bet responsibly. Okay? Okay. Just make sure you're having fun.
What is he at tomorrow? Oh, the lines aren't out yet.
Before we keep going, let's step aside for an ad.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I got 4 Ask the Idiots questions for you here. Kind of all over the map a little bit. I'm going to start with Liam. You're to my right in the studio. If you were a star professional athlete, if of course, my apologies. If you were a star professional athlete, what would you do as your go-to move? I would change my number every couple of weeks so that they would have to hit discount on jerseys. That would be his dick move. What would be your dick move?
Oh, my
Don't
dick
do that.
move.
Ocho Cinco did that a long time ago, and he got dinged a whole lot of money. He had to pay Nike or something.
Sorry, my dick move.
If you had a dick move, if you were a big star athlete, best player in the world on any sport.
I think I would like call people out in the media. I would love if players would just call out other players in the media way more often. You see it in the NBA sometimes, in the NFL, and I think it is a fantastic piece of business. Builds a brand.
Tyler, you're a star athlete, any sport. What's your dick move if you got one?
Oh, what is my dick move? Probably messing with road fans. Like
Yeah.
I'd be, like you're warming up in fucking Florida and you're Connor McDavid and some fan in a Panthers jersey is like, oh my God, can I have your stick?
like
You go,
that.
yeah, no. Just keep going.
I really
Kind of like what Draisaitl did with that fan in Calgary. Did you see that clip? Where
Real
he's, like,
classy.
flipping him off, and he's like real classy, and he scored 2 goals that game.
Rick, what's your dick move?
I don't know, but man, Tyler, that's a good one.
It is a good one. That was a real good one.
Man, like
Because like you're gonna be, your own fans are gonna love you even more.
the wrestling heel.
Yeah, the wrestling heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think knowing me, I'd probably have troubles not calling out the officials.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost me, and
Be very on brand.
yeah, I'd be a bit of an asshole. But yeah, I'd have an issue with not doing that.
Dan, you got a dick move you'd like to do?
I've been literally sitting here thinking of like anything that I could do that would be dickish. Like, I feel like I would just give only kids autographs. Like if an adult walked up to me, I'd just walk past.
That's
them.
actually kind of fair.
That sounds like
I
a
just,
I actually don't think that's a dick move at all. I think
Well,
that is a good move.
I would hate the autograph vultures.
I think I would just be, it'd be like,
Hey,
I
can you
have to-
sign these 10 things?
I have to ID everybody that gives asked for an autograph of me. I guess that's my biggest dick move. I don't know.
My biggest dick move, I think, would be if I score goals in an opposing building, my celebrations would be outrageous.
yeah.
Just swim into the net.
Like
Just do the dive of the
soccer
NHL.
style, I'm ripping the tarp off and swinging it over. And, I'm doing something ridiculous that's going to get me fines. But the
Celebrate
fines
every-
in the NHL are very minor.
You gotta save that for the walk off, man. There's nothing worse than getting a little cocky early and then it comes back.
Yeah, you get a walk off though, tarp comes off.
Oh, buddy, tarp comes off. I might be taking my skates off.
I might do the
there.
full slap shot, strip it on the ice.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's such a good one. I want to change mine to like celebrating every goal in the crease of the opposing team. I'm only allowed to celebrate
the Torello and celebrating on the other team's
Yes.
logo. That would be my goal
so
celebration. There you go. Celebrating on the other team's logo.
Like,
Reversing the order. Dan,
yes.
we have got 10 games. We need 12 points. Can Ryan Nugent-Hopkins get to 100?
Can or will?
Will.
Yes, he can.
Will he though?
Because I think the Oilers are going to be in the fight for the division lead. Yes. Yes,
Rick?
I do.
Of course.
Tyler, 12 points, 10 games. He has to maintain his current pace.
There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games this year where Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been north of 3 points in that hockey game. In 3 of those games, he was at 4 points or more. I can't do the math that well. 10 games to go. He's done it 11 times. He's a lock for one more 3 to 4 point game. After that, easy sailing, Nuge, point a game. You've been doing that all year. He's good to go. 100.
Liam,
Yes. You will hit 100 points.
eloquent in its brevity.
The insight.
I'm going to say yeah. And I think that he gets a shade over. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit 102, 103, 104. Guy's on fire right now.
Radio stations.
Like the goals he snapped against the Coyotes the other day.
Both vintage Nuge though, right?
Yeah.
And he's pumping them in. It's not, these are not shots where a guy is looking like, oh, I'm just putting it on net. By the way, did people go nuts when in the building when Warren Fogle got yet another breakaway and did not score?
I just kind of sat in my seat and laughed, to be honest.
I reserved myself to the fact we weren't going to score that goal.
He did that
I just knew.
the goal. I was sat behind that goal, and there was a few people that kind of like got up from their seats, and I just didn't even budge. There was no way that was going in.
It was very funny. I was watching on TV at home and I'm sitting there. I'm like getting excited. I kind of pop in my chair and I saw his Fogle. I was like, oh,
Damn it. See that 7, you think. You see that 7 and you think, and then no.
Funny how consistent he is.
Nation Dan,
Yes.
if you didn't work with Oilers Nation, what would be your dream job or career?
I mean, like straight up, Bag Milk, you know that this is my dream job. I harassed you to the
did.
point of giving me a job.
years,
So,
It wasn't years.
So I like my dream job. Otherwise, I would love to be a person that could just make Lego things and like make content out of that. That's a weird thing, I know, but
In this
I would
day and
love-
age, you could do it.
Yeah, I think I can. So send me all your Lego and I'll become a Lego creator.
Did you know, Dan, David Quadrelli, Nation Network editor-in-chief, huge Lego guy.
Didn't know that.
He has got like those big, intense shit all over his apartment.
See, I would just be like making stuff on my own, just at random. So if you want to send me your Lego, send it to me.
Rick, what's your dream job?
Connor Shooter.
Connor Shooter?
You would want to be a winger on the Edmonton Oilers, or would you follow McDavid around with a You know what holster.
I'll be the winger on the Oilers.
Tyler, dream job.
The second option to what Rick said.
Tyler changes his answer midstream.
Yeah, long range sniper, I think.
I would go into the family business of plumbing and I would get a job with Star Mechanical.
Wow.
You're such a
Hey, my dad was a plumber or is a plumber still who got his start with Star Mechanical. My uncle is a plumber who worked with Star Mechanical, and 2 of my cousins are currently plumbers.
That was not an ad right there, by the way.
No, that came out. That came out of his face. Liam, what's your dream job?
professional gamer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
What's your game?
I play Minecraft right now.
Yep.
I just built a nice bridge.
I just read I watched a video, like a half-hour video on the creator of Minecraft. What a sad story that is.
Oh, I didn't hear about it.
He's
Gaming
a
is
billionaire.
wild too, because like over in Asia, like you can go to tournaments in South Korea where they sell out stadiums to watch that shit.
Yeah.
They
did the Fortnite World Cup. So if Fortnite can do a World Cup, the NHL can figure it out.
Vegas, the Luxor Hotel now has a stadium like that too. Same kind of idea where you can see down.
Mid-2000s, I would have definitely ruling the world in the Madden world.
I get bored of gaming.
I used to run an NHL team online with people from all around North America. Yep.
I used to play the Madden games. The one specifically that I played the most was the one with Mike Vick on the cover.
Yeah.
And you would trade for Mike Vick in that game, and he's just unstoppable. You would just be like, quarterback sneak, gone.
Just run around, find your
Blitz the League was the best football game.
I don't like those games because they weren't realistic. I didn't like Blitz. I didn't like the NHL version. I didn't like the NBA.
You don't like being able to walk up to a quarterback and just take out his knee, and then you could see a graphic of the knee shattering.
Shit, so as realistic as possible.
So good.
Last questions for Ask the Idiots this week. Liam, you're up first. What are you doing to get ready for the playoff run? This one's from our friend Bearded Brad.
What am I doing to get ready for the playoff run? Well, I'm going to stock up on some bananas because I'm going to need them.
Are you going to freeze them?
Well, actually, when I went to the Crew Game 7 the other day, which they won, as a victory treat, they gave me a bag of bananas. I got 3 bundles.
This bit is really going places.
So I'm going to make some banana bread tonight, and then I'll restock. And
will there be banana bread here for everyone on Tuesday for the show?
Yeah, I can bring in some muffins.
Wow.
Tyler, what are you doing to get ready for the playoff run?
What am I doing to get ready for the playoff run? Giving my liver some load management, we'll call it. Yep. Making sure a couple days off here and there, having
or
smoothies.
Are you going the wrong way?
Yeah, not too much time off.
No, that's why load management, right? Like,
so
again,
reverse, not the Kawhi way, but like you got to make sure he's in there getting like stretching, and getting some at bats, if you will.
Making sure we're good to go. A couple nights where you only put back 1 or 2, and then boom, you take it off and you go, all right, take a couple hours here, just get the liver ready. That's
Rick, what are you doing? Get ready for the playoff run.
Well, a little bit of that right there with Tyler. I know last year I learned that you need a little bit of a hangover cure, so I got to track that down. But I'm a little upset with your guys' answers. It's got to be growing a beard.
I can't. So
yep, doing my best.
Yeah, I can't.
I just got rid of that thing that I was calling a beard.
You got to let her go, man. Look, just go back to like 06, 07. Look what Sid was walking around with.
Oh, I'm
proud of it.
I fully will be wearing whatever grows out of my face.
Take a running start at it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Dan, what are you doing to get ready?
I'm actually heading to Vegas next week to follow the Oilers and go scream at them in Vegas. And,
really?
Yeah, and I'm going to go and I'm going down for a bachelor party, but we're going to go to the game, and so we'll be there to yell at them. And I'm going to
don't yell at them.
Be in my playoff. Well, yes, but I'll be in my playoff mode in Vegas, so I'm getting ready.
What am I doing? I'll tell you. I'm going to bed real late, waking up early, I'm eating like shit, and drinking only alcohol.
So nothing has changed.
That's what I'm doing. God, my body will be ready.
So that's just
I want to know what the Bearded Brad's answer is to this, by the way.
Well, he's having he's slamming back a beer with a shot of vodka.
He's laying in the shots of vodka that he'll then consume during the playoffs.
Yep.
He's pickling.
Let's wrap up the podcast with some hot and cold performers. We are starting with our veggies as we always do. Liam, you are first. Your cold performer of the week.
Oh man, I completely forgot what my cold performer was, but I had a good one. I'll just say my cold performer of the week is the fact that the Germans are gone.
Yep, agreed. Tyler?
Stahl brothers. Eric Stahl says, I've never worn a Pride jersey. You'd never catch me in one of those. Boom. Photographic evidence of him wearing one.
No, I still haven't worn one.
Yeah. Loser mentality.
I was going to do you know what?
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
I hope that means there's just photos of him everywhere he goes for it. Just in that jersey. I want to see that jersey.
I want to see them blowing it up like big head style.
Oh yeah.
Shout out
That's
to
what I
whoever won that at the auction.
$750.
They're also now raising money for the Trevor Project, and then they're going to burn it. So
no, you can't burn it, man.
Yeah,
you got to keep that and rub his nose in it.
Rick, you're a cold front of the week.
Well, this is going to sound kind of weird because it's a cold performer, but it makes me feel really good inside. But it's those guys down south who can't make a win, and I just love watching them piss away their season.
Worst. $10.5 million for an offensive winger who you don't put out in a 1-goal game late.
Worst. Rated.
Nation Dan, you're a cold performer of the week.
My cold performer of the week kind of piggybacks off what Tyler was talking about. It started with Ivan Provorov, and it continues now to this day. To me, this is on the NHL and the NHLPA for not having sat down and had a conversation about what we're going to do when the players start to push back on this. It's frustrating to me that we have to continue to see this now. Statements coming out from people that are unprepared. The teams come out with statements about everybody being in on it, and then it's changing afterwards. It's really frustrating to me. I'm sick and tired of having to have this conversation. And I think that the NHL and the PA need to sit down and figure it out so that we don't have to keep having this discussion. And so NHL and the PA get my cold performer of the week.
You're as cold as ice.
I'm just going to go with what Dan said.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them.
Sorry, you're right, Tyler, and everybody's right about it. That's the thing. That's the frustrating
Let's
part.
end off the podcast with some positive notes here. Dan, we're reversing the order. You're up first.
My hot performer of the week is going to get spread out equally amongst 22 people. I'm just going to give the first names. As Liam mentioned, they're gone now. But my hot performers of the week is going to go to Nicholas, Nils, Lars, Alex, Jesse, Sven, Philip, Jan, Thomas, Melina, Melanie, Christian, Tim, Julian, Andreas, Mario, Mark, Lucas, Alexander, Hans-Dieter, Rudy, and Frank. All of our Germans for giving us one of the best trips we've ever put together. An absolute wonderful time. We can't wait to have you back.
It's getting hot in here.
Rick, your hot performer of the week.
Mix 60.
Feeling hot.
No, nothing else.
Feeling hot.
What else you got to say about it? Tyler, you're up next.
You
Hot
can't
performer
wait
of the
for
week.
Mix 70 though.
We'll see it.
We are YouTube. No longer the Nation Network on YouTube. It's now Oilers Nation. No more Leafs or Flames or Canucks or Jets or Blue Jays content. All Oilers all the time down the stretch and into the playoffs. So go give us a subscribe by searching for Oilers Nation on YouTube. I'd love to get it to 10K.
Liam,
Mine
your hot
goes
performer of the
to,
week.
I just teased it for a second, but the Crusaders advanced to round 2, beating Fall McMurray in game 7, and they take on Spruce Grove now, so that'll be a lot of fun for this city.
He's a hot guy.
My hot performer of the week, very important items that I've got here. Number 1, season 4 of Love is Blind coming in. Come on, Netflix. You know how I love my dating shows. Number 2, I've been staring at Rick's new shoes that he's got on right now. These are some fresh kicks, pal.
I bought them like almost a year ago. I just didn't wear them very much. And then they don't get worn in the winter. So
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not.
I've got a couple of pairs of fresh kicks that are they're waiting for the snow.
Oh yeah.
They're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you have it. Oilers Nation Radio, episode whatever was said earlier.
277.
In the books.
Brilliant.
Shout out to our friends at Tourism Jasper, AMA Travel, Betway, and Oodle Noodle. Remember, go get your Oilers Nation stickers if you're in Edmonton, if you're in Calgary. You made a poor choice. Drive on up the highway. Get a sticker. There you have it. Have a great weekend, everybody.